We're going to look at finding the volume of a shape that's rotated around the x-axis, and the shape we're looking at is between our line and our parabola, which between our line and our parabola is this little piece right here. So if we go ahead and shade that in, we get this, and we're going to revolve that around the x-axis. So the outside's going to be like a cone, but it's still going to have a hole in the middle. We could use a disc, but we're going to look at using a shell. With shells here, the basic formula is 2 pi, your integral, then it's your radius, times your height. But it's all going to be in terms of y when it's a horizontal axis of revolution. And that's what we're dealing with here, horizontal axis of revolution. So we got to be with respect to y. So our y values start out at a height of 0, going up to a height of 4 for our shaded region. But since we got to be dealing with y, we got to go ahead and rewrite our equations so it's x equaling something only with y's in it. So when we look at the first one here, we can go ahead and try to solve that for x by adding 4 to both sides. Then we got to go ahead and divide by 2 or multiply by half, and we end up getting this. When we look at the one right here for our parabola, we could really go ahead and factor the right-hand side, and the right-hand side factors into an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. So you could write it as an x minus 2 all squared. Then we could go ahead and take our square root of both sides, and then we could go ahead and add 2 to both sides to be able to get x by itself. That's what we need to be able to use for finding our integral here. So we're going to start off first by going ahead and looking at a point here. Now this point for your radius goes from your axis of revolution, which is down here, up to here. So our axis, or our radius for our shell, is going to be what's on top, which is a height of y, down to our axis of revolution, which is 0. So our radius is y minus 0, or our radius is y. Now, when we're going ahead and looking at our height of our cylinder would go from what's on the right to what's on the left. So if I put that in here for our height, and that's referring to this right here, what's on the right is our parabola. Our parabola in terms of axes is here, minus what's on the left, which is our line, and our line in terms of y is here. So then all we have to do is go ahead and distribute through the negative and combine like terms. The 2's would drop out, and we'd have this and this left in our parenthesis. Now if we distribute through our y, we would have this here. Now that it's simplified, we can go ahead and take our integral. So we're going to increase our exponents by 1. Then we're going to go ahead and plug in our 4, subtract what you get when you plug in 0. Plugging in 0 doesn't change it, and so we end up with 64 pi over 15.